What's going on, Bro Squadron? I'm your bro host, Daniel Miller.
And I'm Chris Ryans, and it's all High Republic Comics this week, and you know what that means.
BROAXIUM's Ben and Jan from the Star Bros podcast give you the fuel to jumpstart your Star Wars Comics week right into hyperspace with a quick shot of BROAXIUM.
Instead of us, for a change. So, what do we, do?
I don't know. Punch it?
Yeah, I guess. Let's punch it.
I watch Star Wars just to see Yoda.
We open up on Zine and Crix, two lifelong friends struggling through recent events. They're engaged in what can only be described as Star Wars' version of a Snapchat. Zine talks about how she is making new friends with the Padawans, especially Lula. But it isn't all perfect. After all, she was always taught to not trust the Jedi, and she misses her home. Maybe a visit from some Jedi Masters will cheer her up, especially if it's Yoda bringing delicious pastries. Who wouldn't want that? Crix is adjusting to his new life with the Nile too, on their ship known as the Gaze Electric. Apparently the food is okay, and he's happy that he's alive, but he's still feeling betrayed by Zine and everyone else in his life. He's alone, and unfortunately, he's getting a bit bitter by it all. Crix is escorted to the room where Marchion Ro is interrogating Elder Tromac, Crix's leader. Marchion Ro wants what he came to get from Elder Tromac when he rescued him on Trimant 4, but Elder Tromac won't tell him. It's sacred knowledge that he must protect. Marchion Ro has had enough and he sends them both away, to the rink. Whatever it is, it doesn't sound like it's as fun as an ice skating rink. On the way to their pending doom, Crix gets Elder Tromac to tell him about what Marchion Ro wants, just in case, one of them dies or something. He explains that it's an ancient relic divided in two pieces. One of the pieces is on the Stigmarn system, but there's no time for the rest of it. They arrive at the battle rink, and it doesn't look good. Back on Starlight Beacon, the Jedi meet with Zine to discuss her future. As many of us know, the Jedi have this sort of rule about only training infants, and Zine is too old. But they can't send her back to Trimant 4 given that it's practically in ruins now. Besides, I think her newfound friends might not be too happy to see her leave either. Will the Jedi allow Zine to stay? Will they train her in the Force? Will Crix and Elder Tromac survive their fight in the battle rink? And even if they survive, where will this go next? Daniel Josè Older is doing a great job telling two stories at once like he did in the first issue. The plot is starting to thicken in this series, and I can't wait to see where he takes this story next.
In the latest issue of Marvel's The High Republic, we see an evil trap taking root on the ground and on Starlight Beacon. And we learn that there are no shortcuts on Light's path. So we present to you Cavan Scott's issue number 4 titled, There Is No Fear, Chapter 4, Song of the Drengir. We begin with a flashback. 6 years ago on Kirima, Keeve Trennis is a Padawan. She's being tested and she's unsure of herself. But Master Skier reassures Keeve, giving her a much-needed dose of Jedi confidence. And when she falls, he's there to catch her. Now back on Sedri Minor, we meet a very different Skier. Skier's possessed by the Drengir. Avar Kriss appeals to Skier in the commitments that he's made as a Jedi. But instead, Skier holds his ground and launches into the story of the Drengir and their dark, haunting past. The story cuts to Starlight Beacon, where a team of Jedi are huddled around a Hutt corpse. As they conduct their autopsy, they find that the cause of death was not what they had expected. Then the body moves, and the Jedi realize that the Hutt was infested with something, and a Drengir comes bursting out. We return once more to Sedri Minor. Keeve hangs upside down, and even as hope fades, she calls out to her former master, encouraging him as he once did for her. She reminds him of who he is and harkens back to the lesson on Kirima. There are no shortcuts on Light's path. Hope fades further. Keeve begs her master to awaken, and just then, Skier's lightsaber flashes. Now to find out what happens next and what other surprises may be in store for our heroes, pick up issue number 4 of Marvel's The High Republic.
And thanks for joining us for another quick shot of BROAXIUM.
And a big shout out to Ben and Jan. They did a great job. Make sure you follow the Star Bros and subscribe to them wherever you get your podcasts.
Make sure you check out our merch at our TeePublic store and consider checking out our new Patreon page and help support BROAXIUM.
We also want to give a shout out to our first patrons, Wendy Alexander, Jared Bachman Stubbs, and Rick Villanueva. Thank you guys so much. And make sure you check out the Star Wars Splash Page podcast for in-depth reviews on all the new Star Wars comics every week.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.